This week on Dean Partridge's Canadian Whitetail.
In the food plot after a big old tipped-out 5x5 deer. It's pretty windy tonight, but hopefully it dies down and he makes an appearance for us. That's not really what we wanted, eh?
The few food plots that we've built have been a lot of work, but it's work that we've come to love. And when you've done all that work, sitting back and watching the deer utilize that area, it can be very rewarding. Almost as rewarding as when all that work comes together for that one moment, that 1 second that we all live for, when you're about to draw your bow on that buck of your dreams. But then again, sometimes like in Mike's 2-part hunt this week and next, that moment can turn from a dream to a nightmare in an instant. We've been working with the discer for a couple of weeks trying to expand this plot further out to the west, and we're ready to give it one more shot with the disc, and we've got all the equipment up here, then we're going to seed it.
Definitely a labor of love. These plots have been a lot of work, but the reward of seeing the deer thrive because of them makes it so worthwhile.
This is our 4th going on our 5th year in our biggest alfalfa plot here, and the one problem we had this year is some areas died off. I think it got a little too much fertilizer last year, and whoever spread the fertilizer, I don't think we'll call him out, Jason Peterson, but we wanted to come in and work up just those spots. The rest of the alfalfa is still great, so there's no sense working it under. We're going to redo this whole plot next year, but we thought we'd get one more year out of the alfalfa. And we worked up about 6 or 8 acres, kind of in a kidney shape, and we expanded the plot to the west here. And we're going to plant some peas and canola so there's a good food source there come October and November for the deer.
We had noticed in the past that by late October, the deer had stopped using the alfalfa, which is what led us to work up the poorest parts of that plot, leaving the good lush alfalfa for early season, and planting the peas to let stand, and provide the deer with nutrition long after the alfalfa had died off. After seeding the peas, we harrowed them in, and then cut the alfalfa that we had left, hoping that by early fall, the deer would have plenty of lush green regrowth. The peas were seeded and the alfalfa was cut, and all we could do now was hope for rain and wait.
It's been 5 weeks since we seeded our plot, and it's coming up great. The peas look like they're doing a little bit better than the canola that we put in here. And the deer are loving it. They're eating the peas off already before they've got a chance to get pods on them, but they should be getting pretty close to flowering, and it looks like it's going to do well, so hopefully it gets flowers and gets pods, and those pods fill before it freezes, and we timed it right.
Here you can see the dark green alfalfa and the light green area, which is where we broke up and seeded the peas. You may also notice the peas at the top of the screen, a long ways from the stand, which is at the bottom, something that would prove to be an issue.
Now with the plots ready and growing, we spent the next couple of weeks watching to see how the deer would adapt and utilize that new plot. And we had our eye on one specific tipped-out 5 in particular.
The tipped-out 5, a buck new to us that showed up in the plots, wide with long tines and definitely a mature deer.
Well, we just came in. This is the stand that overlooks our plot, and it's a kind of a cloudy and a little bit rainy day, but it's a perfect day for doing this. So we came in here. This stands in the same spot as was last year, and we're not going to change it this year, so we wanted to check the straps. We change the straps on the stands every year just to be safe. We put a little bit more brush up. Brush grows up quite a bit every spring, so we got our shooting lanes cleared back out. And we're overlooking the plot where Jason actually shot the 188-inch G2 buck. That'd be 2 years ago.
Awesome deer.
But we've got some nice deer that are utilizing the plot, and they come out and down this edge. So this plot's too big, of course, to shoot across with archery, so we're hoping they run on this edge, and they tend to. So we're in a good spot, we're set up, and we're ready to hunt. The plot was ready, the stand was ready, and good friend Mike Sutherland, who had his heart set on the big tipped out 5, was ready, and it was time to head in to hunt.
After a big old tipped out 5x5 deer. It's pretty windy tonight, but hopefully it dies down and he makes an appearance for us. Get a good look at him.
After a fairly uneventful evening, it isn't until later when the first deer makes an appearance.
There's a buck out there.
That first deer to arrive is none other than the tipped out 5 that Mike was looking for. Unfortunately, as light fades, the tipped out 5 stays gorging himself in the fresh peas, 200 yards away from Mike's stand.
That big guy sure is liking those peas over there. Well, we never did get a shot opportunity at our target deer, but it was good to see him tonight anyways.
Mike, heading in on day 2, is hopeful after having an encounter with a tipped out 5 the previous sit. Unfortunately, as the night wears on, Mike's first encounter is with a couple of coyotes out hunting in the plots. After the coyotes clear, a great young buck makes an appearance.
That's one of the young deer we've been keeping an eye on. Looks like he's gonna be a pretty big one in the future.
As Mike's watching the young buck, he looks up, and there again is the tipped out 5.
I think one of those bucks out there is our deer, but he's too far out and we're losing camera light fast, so we'll have to try again tomorrow.
Again, the tipped out 5 is hung up too far away in the peas that we'd planted, something that seems to be starting to be a problem.
We've got one rule here at Canadian Whitetail, and that's if you're going to pick a specific buck to hunt, you need to be here. Because if you're not, and the conditions are right, somebody else will be in that shooter seat. Our hunts are focused on the deer and not the hunter, so we'll hunt that deer every time that those conditions are right. And while the one time that Mike couldn't make it out, Jason Peterson was more than happy to fill that seat.
real wide 5x5. We've been trying to get, Mike's been hunting them a little bit. Mike can't hunt tonight because his woman's got him tied down. Sorry, Mike. So we're headed in. So if we shoot him, we'll give you a call and you can come and take your picture with him. And if not, we won't call.
Jason had not had an encounter with the big tipped out 5, but once Mike had gotten word that his seat had been filled, he was sure not to miss a second day and was back in the tree.
Again, the tipped out 5 makes an appearance, but again he's on the far side of the plot. But this time little does Mike know that I'd slipped in there a few days earlier trying to stack his odds by spreading some Big & J in front of the stand, hoping to draw the tipped out 5 across the plot.
Looks like he's making his way over here.
The Big & J appeared to be working with the buck coming across the plot directly to the stand. These bucks get big because they're smart, and now just yards from Mike's shooting lane, the wind has the tipped out 5 on guard and nervous, looking for danger. And right there, by his body language, you can tell that he spotted the danger in the tree. And there walks away a summer of hard work and scouting and hours upon hours of time in the stand.
Well, that's not really what we wanted, eh? Oh well. Doesn't look too scared. He'll be back. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, no kidding. So close. Saw something. Yeah. Well, he must have picked up on something he didn't like or saw us or something, but he's not too scared. He's still out in the field, so hopefully we can get him next time the wind's good, I guess.
That was close, buddy.
That was close. That's as close as it gets.
The tipped out 5 being back depends on one thing, what he thinks he saw. If he knows that he spotted them, it's over. If the deer spooked from the wind and doesn't know what's up, there may be hope. Maybe.
Follow Dean and the team on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter @WhitetailDean. For Canadian whitetail gear and apparel, visit CanadianHuntShop.com.